Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining our maiden edition of the webinar series today with Borderless Minds and Scholars. So thank you for taking time to be with us and to be a part of this webinar series. This is the first in a series, okay? And today we're going to be dealing with the basics of scholarship applications and admission. And two of us will be facilitating it. The first person would be Andwemba Samuel Nege, who is the CEO, and my humble self. Okay. Quickly, I just want to give you a short bio about Andwemba Samuel Nege. He's presently taking his PhD under the Taiwan International Graduate Program, partnership with the National Taiwan University. Prior to that, he's been awarded the Best MSc Graduate of Fisheries and Marine Faculty from Universitas Erlangga in Indonesia, and he won the Rector's Award. He's also been awarded as the Best Presenter in Life Science during the Second International Graduate School of Universitas in Erlangga in Indonesia in 2018. He's a bit of a writer as well, having participated in the Writers Square Essay Award, um, and he's gotten the certificate of participation by the organization in the United States in 2018. He did also get awarded the Developing Countries Partnership Scholarship called the KNB Scholarship by the government of the Republic of Indonesia in 2017. He's got quite a number of, these awards and achievements under his belt, and he's going to be taking us the very first part of this webinar series on the basics of applications for scholarships as well as admission processes. So do welcome with me, Mr. Andoemba Samuel Ege.
Oh yeah, thank you so much, Silas, for the kind intro, and yeah, thank you. That was so kind of you. Without much ado, I will just go straight to our talk for today. And with me here, I have an outline of what we'll be talking about. Um, Basically, I will talk on the part that concerns starting your admission and scholarship application, what I tag starting your application 101. So, um, I want to just briefly tell us about BMS, what is BMS, and also a brief description, also the vision and mission of BMS, what we aspire to, and what is our philosophy, and also the success stories of BMS thus far for those who are just listening to BMS or watching us for the first time. Then I will run through starting your scholarship or admission application and going through the process. I also mentioned cold emails, creating the accounts, and also the interface. Very basic. This is because most of the applicants, those are some of the basic questions that they've asked. So we decided to start from the very scratch so that you do like a walk through the whole process of application. Then Silas will come in with reference letters and the referees and the reference letters or letters of recommendations. And then we'll treat a general question and answer segment. So yeah, to start with, Borderless Minds and Scholars is actually currently an organ of the Tomute Initiative. So it's a subdivision of the Tomute Initiative, although Borderless Minds and Scholars is fully registered in Nigeria as an educational consulting and training uh, corporate or institute or initiative on its own. So this BMS for short, it's actually the reality of a vision or the brainchild of a vision that I received as far back as 2016. So I saw that God helping me, I was able to like appreciate people who were excelling, and I myself by then. I had wanted to actually enjoy the benefit of excelling studies. So I started thinking of how one could achieve such a dream. So the dream also includes giving even awards to students. But because I don't have that money, and then this opportunity came, so we started gradually by showing people how to get admission and scholarship and even study for free around the globe. So one of the key things that actually rekindled my zeal for or passion for this uh, assignment um, is the KMB scholarship, Kemitraan Negara Berkembang of Indonesian government that I got, as well as the Fortress of Hope scholarship that I got for my master's in 2017. So when I got this, I'm like, oh, this is a good step. I can now tell people that you can do it, because if my humble self, who had, as it were, coming from a humble background and with little or no experience in this kind of things, yeah, so growing up in Benue State, so I felt I could also share my story and that could encourage others. So that's how it became like a burning desire on my mind. So BMS, like I mentioned, is a corporate firm focused on coaching, training, and guiding and mentoring scholarship applicants, applications, people on applications. So I want to mention that we, as a group, we do not offer the scholarships to students or applicants ourselves, where we help them to put on award-winning admission and award-winning applications, help them to secure those scholarships. So before November 2021, basically we're operating more or less free services. Even now we do many free services, but for some of our services now we have meager fees in order to maintain and be able to keep running our group. So and logistics. So we also have, because we are driven, we feel that we're driven by excellence, and we feel that every child who is qualified um, for admission or scholarship should not stay out of school. So we have training waivers for qualified applicants who have proof to show that they cannot afford training fees. So the vision quickly, uh, our vision is quite simple. We dream to become an outstanding firm that does coaching and training, and as well as guiding and mentoring scholarship applicants in Nigeria, Africa, and across the globe. So we have a very big dream. Then our mission is to coach, train, guide, and mentor applicants who will acquire globally competitive skills and be able to contribute to solving practical challenges or problems in the development of Nigeria, Africa, and the globe. Hence our philosophy of the borderless philosophy. That's why we are called borderless minds and scholars. So quickly, I want to just run us through some of our activities before now and the success stories from inception up to the first quarter of 2024. BMS has trained applicants, and they've been able to secure scholarship acceptance for study programs outside of Nigeria in various categories of 20 successful applicants as at first quarter of 2024. And some of them, these are some of the list here, and some of them were for degree programs. For example, this applicant got for bachelor's degree, partial funding in Indonesia, and also got another offer scholarship for bachelor's degree, partial funding again in Indonesia and another university between September and October of 2020. Then the second applicant here also got in September partial funding in Indonesia. So the third person here got a full funding PhD scholarship in the US. So what we did for this third applicant was not actually the training for the entire application, but for the visa process to travel to study in the US. Although I was surprised that the links that I shared with these applicants to our joint webinars in pharmacognosy, webinars organized by Pharmacognosy Society in the US, where some of the it was there that he met a PI and connected with him, and then later got the scholarship. So he met me and told me about it, and we walked him through and helped him with how to prepare for his visa, and he secured a visa to the US. So the fourth applicant got a bachelor's degree, scholarship at American University of the People, an online program in August of 2021. And then the remaining ones here got a virtual holiday course to study free at Universitas Airlangga online. So those are some of the success stories here with many more that I wouldn't want to spend time talking about. So yeah, I just have with me here some of the offer letters, as we can see here, letter of admission or acceptance here, scholarship category, and all of that. So for the second one also, this was at Universitas Technology, Sumbawa, for the same applicant. And then for the other applicant who also got in Indonesia, category 2, scholarship. And then this one that I didn't mention on the list, this is an active scholarship this applicant got in 2024, July. And it's for a master's program. So it's still active. So I respect the sensitivity of some of those information. That's why I blurred them or shaded them, as we can see here. So yeah, this is fully funded to study for a master's program. So and then recently from 20 December of 2024 until now, we've been able to also train and coach applicants who have successfully submitted for PhD, internship, and other applications as shown here. This one was a PhD program has successfully submitted, and we are patiently waiting for the good news from the admission office. Hopefully, it will be a good news. And then this is yet another person here who also applied for PhD here. So, and yeah, then the next one, also for a PhD program within this period. So we work really fast, and we, we have a passion in doing this. So you can imagine that within December to January, we've been able to process up to 5 or more successful applications who have applicants who have successfully submitted the applications. And if you have done scholarship application, you know that I agree with me that it can be a very tedious process, but we make it very simple for you. So this is an application for internship. The candidate here also successfully submitted, waiting for reply or responses for feedback after the review. So these are their letters of acknowledgement. So you can see for yourself. So I haven't talked briefly about BMS. I want to go into starting your admission and scholarship application. Most people have asked us, how do you start? Because they feel like it's a daunting process, it's tedious. But I want to just walk us through and break down the steps, things to consider first. In my opinion, you have things to consider and then things to do, and then how to go about them. So for things to consider, they include the type of opening or scholarship that is available, and also the requirement, even if it's for a research job and all of that, because sometimes we have people applying for research jobs that want us to put them through. So your choice also, because you're an applicant, doesn't mean you don't have a choice. So you need to actually ask yourself, do I like this opening? Now, what are my preferences? What are my career objectives? Or what are my goals in life? What kind of course do I want to study? Consider all those things because they're important. It's not just about getting the offer. So the number 3 is your own qualification. Some of those things that you may not be able to immediately change, right? You need to know what is your qualification. Does it match with the requirements of this advert? Then uh, check the how ready you are. Do you have your documents ready, your travel and other documents? And then check the deadline. This is very important. And then other factors that you may want to consider. For example, time that will take you to process documents if they are not ready, and then whether or not it has an application fee, some of those things. I include others. So now when you look at consider some of those things, you move to the things that you need to do by yourself. For example, if your certificates are not ready, get them handy. Like in Nigeria, for example, sometimes some schools, when you graduate from them, you have to wait until your convocation before you can get your certificate. So whether it's statement of result, get them ready. And does the scholarship require you to authenticate your documents or something? Get those ready. And if you don't have your travel document, for example, international passport or an ECOWAS passport or pass or permit, get them ready before you start. That would be really helpful. Although I will confess that in my case, I didn't even have my international passport ready at the time when I was applying for my first scholarship abroad. But that was very risky. I don't encourage anyone to do that. And I think things have really improved and changed. So don't go through that kind of route. But I was lucky to stay secure the scholarship anyways. So I kind of did it and waited before I would get the feedback. I quickly did apply for my passport. I got it, so I could manage that. So now you need to make a timeline that is far from the deadline, and then create your accounts, then begin to list down your referees that you want to, people that you want to vouch for your endorse your application, and then prepare your CV. Please pay attention to this, and then begin to draft your SOP. That's a statement of purpose or letters of motivation, application letter, whatever they require from you. We'll spend time to tell you about CV and SOP in some of our upcoming webinars. So I will not talk about that now, and then other things that you need to do. Okay, so having said that, I want to mention that sometimes you may require or it may be advisable for you to send cold emails to the professors to talk to them. For example, you can see that this application, for example, advises that the applicants should contact the professors that are in charge here or the PI that they are going to work in their lab. If admitted, we encourage you to contact Dr. Chris Mayers here. Yeah. So, however, some applications will tell you you don't need to contact the PI to discuss anything. That would be like soliciting. So, um, so you can see, for example, this one says, therefore, I don't consider students until they are admitted. The program does not admit directly into labs, and each student does at least number of rotations. Students are discouraged from making arrangements with labs for permanent placement before admission, things like that. So consider the philosophy of that scholarship. That's what I want to say. That's the take-home message. So yeah, if you're asked, if you are permitted to make an inquiry, you can draft a cold email like this. Introduce yourself well, talk about your achievements, and then sell yourself to that PI, why you're interested and why you think that place is good for you, and then the things that you've done, and prepared yourself for that kind of offer. So I won't talk about the code emails. I'll just go straight to creating your scholarship account or your admission account. This is very basic, but I'll just run through. Please get an active email account that is functional, and then get to the link. It's advisable to use a PC if you have one. You could use a phone, but in most cases, it may not be very convenient to use a phone. So read through carefully. This is an example, a One Health approach to vitamin D biofortification in pork. I think this is a PhD call. And then read through and then check your deadlines carefully here, mark the dates, and then look at the things you need to do. For example, this was saying 24th of February, the deadline has passed now, right? Then interview and all of that, then begin the open account. For example, they are telling you that you need this number, you need this to code this number. Please record it down, save it somewhere, and then start create account and all of that. Then for working on the interface, you need to pay attention to your personal details. Make sure you don't make any mistake on your name arrangements and all of that. These are very basic, but yet very important. And then your email, Don't use an email that you don't frequent. That is not your frequently used email. Use your most your frequently used email, the email you use the most, and maybe your work email, as it were. And then feel carefully, pay attention to all those with asterisk because you are required to fill those ones. Others can be neglected, but not those ones with asterisks. And then the deadline, I will still emphasize, make your own timeline that is earlier than the deadline and then work with it assiduously. So pay attention to the details, little things that matter actually. So for the interface, you could have this, for example, filling. I use borderless minds and scholars here for an example. I filled in and I saved my password. Make sure you don't forget your password. If you're not saving them on a computer, make sure you find a way to remember them. I don't know, some people believe in saving them on their gadget somewhere. Some don't believe in writing passwords somewhere. So just find a way to keep them intact so that you don't lose your password and begin to run into troubles. Although in some websites, most websites, you can recover your passwords or your account. So here, this is um, the profile of BMS. After filling here, you can see your profile comes like this: country, number, and other personal information. So now you know that you have personal information segment, nationality and citizenship, educational history, and all of that. So pay attention to them carefully and feed them very honestly and as accurate as possible to avoid errors. So that will be all for my segment. So the next one will be the segment that will be taken by Silas, and then who will talk about the letters of a recommendation or the referee letters or endorsements. So after that, we'll treat the Q&A